Elizabeth, what I would say, I think, against the pro-Trump argument on this is that if you start to play loose with due process, what happens, as Donald Trump is now realizing, I think, is that the stories become the stories which are about due process, not what's happened on the southern border. There is a clear, demonstrable big success on the southern border, but I'm not reading or seeing anything about that. All I'm hearing about are these one or two isolated people who have not been afforded due process and where it looks unfair. And my point about that is that it's almost handing a victory to the jaws of defeat if you abandon due process. What do you think of that argument?
I mean, I have a lot to say in general, but can I just ask you, Piers, do you genuinely believe that the mainstream media that we've talked a bit about now for the last 15 minutes would have given Donald Trump the win and actually written about the victory at the border, regardless of what else was happening in the country? Do you believe that?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem with Donald Trump, well, part of the problem with Donald Trump from day one, in terms of the way the media have treated him, is that they have failed to understand why he got elected. But the problem with the kind of controlled chaos strategy that Trump deploys is that he does allow his opponents, his enemies, and I include quite a lot of people in the media who really do want to take him down. Even now, you can see it. It gives them a chance and an excuse to do that. And it takes away from the successes. He has to get some wins on the board, because otherwise, if in 6 months' time or a year's time, or as you head towards the midterms, the US economy is still in the doldrums and the stock market is still tanking, then you're going to lose the House in the midterms and the environment will change completely. So I do think there's, he's playing with fire here with this stuff where he's got to get wins on the board. Do you accept that?
I accept that, but I would argue that Donald Trump, obviously, as you know, is fully aware that midterms are coming up and maybe is acting like a president and not a politician worried about midterms. Not everyone can be Joe Biden and try to erase student loan debt a couple of weeks before the midterms to try to score themselves a win, for example. So Donald Trump is not worried about victories in the media because he knows the American people not only elected him to do what he's doing, but can figure out what he's doing without, reading through a couple of headlines in the mainstream media. So no, I don't think he's worried about scoring a few wins because he believes he's scoring the exact wins he was elected to score.
Okay,